we have a massive update to break down regarding the Toronto Raptors' quest to acquire superstar Kevin Durant. And it's probably an update most Raptors fans have wanted to hear since all of these reports, all of these rumblings have picked up over the last few days. And it's that the Toronto Raptors remain fixed on not adding Scottie Barnes to any potential Kevin Durant package. So that's encouraging news. I'm happy to hear that. Additionally, the report went on to say that Kevin Durant is open to the idea of joining the Toronto Raptors, which is going to be key if we're going to be giving up all of the assets that Brooklyn is going to require if they're giving up on the superstar talent. We also have a fake news or a report that I believe is fake news going around Raptors media, Raptors land, that I want to just clear up because it got me before I looked into it today to make this video. So I wanted to address that one there. And finally, the reported asking price. The players that the Utah Jazz were interested in a potential Rudy Gobert trade have been reported on, and some Raptors fans are saying that might be important for potential Donovan Mitchell package if he ends up going up in a fire sale. But I think it's interesting to always hear about the players that other teams are interested in acquiring from our team. So I'm going to dive into all of this news. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, breaking down the latest Toronto Raptors news. And as mentioned in the intro, we got an update on the update we wanted to hear, and it's the Toronto Raptors are not offering Scottie Barnes in any KD trade. Now, most of these updates, they have been supplemented by other, the minor reporters that all have their takes, their minor sources and all that. Some of the stuff has. But the main sort of beef of this video, the news coming out in this video, is from an article by Michael Grange, who is a Raptors insider. He has had some hits, specifically around the Toronto Raptors sign and trade situation with Kyle Lowry and all those. That he dealt with the Kyle Lowry situation pretty well. He's also had some very notable misses, especially regarding the Jalen Suggs, saying essentially a day before the draft that we're drafting Suggs over Scottie Barnes. So hits and misses with Michael Grange. So take everything with a grain of salt, even though he's pretty good at this, these types of reporting, right? Not necessarily who the Raptors are going to draft, but he is an insider. So we're going to just break down everything that he says. And to take directly from his most recent article on the situation, he is saying that the Toronto Raptors have remained fixed on keeping Rookie of the Year Scottie Barnes out of any package that they are offering. Now, this is, firstly, I completely agree with this from Masai Ujiri. I don't think it's smart to give up on the Rookie of the Year, the guy with potential, superstar potential. Will he live up to it? Who knows? But with superstar potential at such a young age that wants to be on your team, that you have locked up for so many years, it just doesn't make sense to give up on a guy, no matter how good the guy you're getting back in return could be. So, some people are saying Raptors fans are naive for believing this and all that sort of stuff. I'm staying true to this point. I don't want to give up Scottie Barnes. And the more I think about it, the more I marinate on potentially acquiring Kevin Durant, the more excited I get. The more I still say that I don't want to give up Scottie Barnes in any trade. So this just makes sense that as the type of move of Toronto, or the type of position a Toronto Raptors or Masai Ujiri-led organization would hold, right? Masai Ujiri is a negotiation master, and he knows how to get players for the right cost, for the right price, no matter what inflation is happening in the market with the Rudy Gobert situation, where he's commanding 5 first-round picks, which is absolutely insane. But this is some important news, because it's also been talked about how Kevin Durant has spoken so highly on Scottie Barnes in the past and previous seasons, or since he's been coming up. Apparently he's been watching him since Scottie Barnes was in grade 7, and less substantiated reports have come out and essentially broken down that Kevin Durant would be open to Toronto if Scottie Barnes remained there, if he stayed. So those are the less credible ones. I'm sort of just talking on the the guys that do have the blue check marks, but likely don't have that many inside sources. But that's an important development in this whole situation, because it means that these trade talks are being taken seriously, with the Toronto Raptors withholding Scottie Barnes from these deals, because we saw a few guys like Zach Lowe, Bobby Marks, a few of those ESPN media guys say that if the Toronto Raptors are not willing to include Scottie Barnes, then they'll hang up the phone, which clearly isn't the case. And the article sort of breaks down, Michael Grange talks about in the article how the Raptors believe that they can certainly provide the best offer to Brooklyn. It's just that, would they be willing to offer those types of assets in terms of acquiring a Kevin Durant. So that's what the Toronto Raptors are sort of at in the negotiation tactic, the negotiation space. And to sort of build on all this, the second part of this video, it's that KD is open to coming to Toronto. Now, this is a mess, and I know people have been roasting me for saying Toronto. I'm trying to inflect my voice, and when I do that, I pronounce the T's. If I'm talking every day, I'm saying Toronto, so don't stress it, folks. I'm from Newfoundland. I'm trying to get the YouTube voice going. So I heard the T pretty bad in that Toronto, but it is what it is. But to get back on track, to get back on point, Kevin Durant, according in this article, is open to the idea to playing for Toronto. The direct quote sort of ends off here that the 2-time champion and 11-time All-NBA force of nature is at least open to the possibility of playing in Toronto. Now, people have been talking about how, yes, it's the reason KD is so valuable right now is the contract he's on. It's not a Kawhi Leonard situation where he's on the last year of his deal. He clearly wants to go to a team, yada, 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 right? Kevin Durant has 4 years left on his deal. And I see a lot of valid comebacks saying, well, he's also on a 4-year deal for the Brooklyn Nets, and look at what position they're in. They have to trade him right now. So the players have all the leverage, this, that, and whatever. So if you're going to be acquiring Kevin Durant, and that's why the Suns have been the favorite to acquire this guy from the jump, it's because they're his preferred destination. But if KD is at least open to joining your team, he's not going to sit there and pout at least the first season he's on your squad, then that's going to be extremely important if the Toronto Raptors are going to give up, regardless of what deal goes down, especially even if Scottie Barnes is held out of the deal, we're going to be giving up massive, massive assets to acquire Kevin Durant if this potential deal goes down. You need to know he's at least open to playing on the organization. He doesn't have a vendetta. He doesn't, disbelieve in the squad or anything like that. The Raptors were his favorite team growing up. We have a very stable franchise. We own the best front offices in the league. All that sort of stuff is an attractive force in bringing in players. So I know it's cold and I get all that sort of stuff. I know Phoenix and Miami's preferred destinations are hot places, but the last team he signed to is the Brooklyn Nets, which isn't that much hotter than Toronto, especially, maybe the winters in Toronto get a little bit worse, but springtime, the fall, it's all about the same. So that's also an important development there. We'll see how the odds go. We'll see how it all breaks down, how it all builds up tomorrow, but man, the KD stuff, it's getting me more and more excited. Just the whole chaos of it. I love the randomness going on with the old Kevin Durant reports. But that's that KD stuff. The next topic we're talking about is that the Utah Jazz wanted Gary and OG in their quest to trade away Rudy Gobert. Now, we see the package that the Utah Jazz got, and my goodness, is it a package back? People are roasting the Minnesota Timberwolves for making this deal. I think it's a win-win trade because Minnesota wants to win now. They've been in NBA purgatory for a long time, and this deal helps push them out of NBA purgatory, at least, in my opinion. Gets them an upper echelon Western Conference team, bolsters their defense and all that sort of stuff. But the Raptors were not going to be able. It didn't make sense for the Toronto Raptors to give up this type of package that the Minnesota Timberwolves gave up, and it seems like the Utah Jazz wanted a Minnesota-style package. This is coming from Mike Scotto. Before eventually trading Rudy Gobert to the Timberwolves, the Jazz inquired about the possibility of trading for starters OG Anunoby and Gary Trent Jr. plus and then he also wrote an article about what the Rudy Gobert trade means for Kevin Durant. I don't think the Rudy Gobert trade means that much in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, given the fact that our front office knows how to negotiate trades. We've come out on top on a lot of trades in the past and gotten players for a lot less than the market seemed to have demanded. So I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact. But imagine if the Toronto Raptors gave up Rudy Gobert, or gave up OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr. plus to acquire Rudy Gobert. I'm surprised these rumors kept coming out. I'm surprised the Raptors continue to be interested. Maybe they thought that the Utah Jazz were hosting a tough bargain and that the Raptors would be able to come in when another team wasn't going to offer 5 first-round picks. But that would have been nonsense. That would have been insane. Other reports have come out about how the Utah Jazz are very high on Gary Trent Jr., and it's led some to speculate that maybe the Utah Jazz be open to a Donovan Mitchell trade. And that's been interesting. I don't like Donovan Mitchell's defense. I don't like that. I wouldn't like the small backcourt we'd have with him and Fred VanVleet, even if it would be an elite offensive firepower. But Fred VanVleet obviously is a great defender for guards, but is undersized himself. So we've ran the 2-guard lineup in the past. It's worked occasionally. Donovan Mitchell would be cool, but I don't know if I'm giving up Gary Trent, OG Anunoby plus stuff for Donovan Mitchell at that point. And they'd probably have a higher asking price for Donovan, given his young star status and given his solid playoff performances in the past. So that's something I wanted to address, just something I wanted to talk on. And the final topic I wanted to clear up for some people, because I believed it. I was out with my friends this evening, and all of them sort of believed it too. But there's a tweet. I saw it on Reddit. I think it's a tweet that sort of went semi-viral, and it was saying that Otto Porter Jr. signed with the Toronto Raptors, because we still don't know what the contract specifics are for Otto Porter Jr., who I think is a massive pickup. We know it's going to be below the mid-level exception, which is it's important that we know we didn't pay him $20 million or something like that, because we legally couldn't, given the current CBA. But the reports, there was a website called sporttrack.com that listed the salary for Otto Porter Jr. being a 2-year, $5 million deal or something. So that would pay Otto Porter Jr. roughly $2 million per year, the veteran's minimum, essentially the minimum of what Otto Porter Jr. can acquire. And this was just proven to either not be official yet or just flat out fake. Sports Track, apparently, Blake Murphy spoke on how it might be just a default value that was added to the website. And I currently went directly to the website, and then it's still showing that it's unknown. They showed a $0 value, but I don't know. I thought the Toronto Raptors potentially got the absolute definite steal of the offseason if we got Otto Porter Jr. on a $2 million deal. However, I'm kind of happy that we likely use the full mid-level, given the fact it makes him more likely he'll pick up his player option next season. So that's just the take there. But let me know what you guys think on all of this Toronto Raptors news. It's been absolute madness, absolute chaos over the past couple of days. I like that the Raptors are at least being aggressive, at least getting their feelers out for a Kevin Durant deal. Gotta swing for the fences when you get the chance. So stay tuned to the Raptors Digest if you want to stay up to date on the latest Raptors news. Subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Anyways, enough of me rambling. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok, the Twitter, all that cool stuff. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.